Gonna be happy?
Well, just come with a map?
No,
Absolutely not.
You hit the nail on the head, right? You need money to do the things. You don't want the money.
No.
You want the things that money buys,
Yeah.
right? You want the experience. You want to travel. You want the car, the house. You want the education. You want the power or the stature that you get with the money, right? You don't necessarily want the money. So you build the financial plan in order to get the thing that you want with the money, right? So it's a tool. It's something that you're going to use to assist others. Like I said, your plan is alive until it's been completed. And here's a really important point that I haven't touched on yet, is that having a plan gives you a sense of control. Control is one of our basic human drives. And when we feel out of control, what tends to happen? Things go off the rails, right? Like we start thinking illogically. We start acting illogically. We choose to do things that doesn't necessarily make sense. It's real easy to throw in the towel and say, I'm done. Or it's real easy to just get angry and lash out at somebody that doesn't necessarily deserve it. It's when we lose control, or when we have a feeling that we've lost control, we don't do the things that we know that we should do. And when you have a plan, and you follow the plan, and you see that the plan's working, then you know, if I do the thing that the plan says, I'm in control. I get to control how much effort I put in. I get to control how much time I put in. I get to control if I put the investment into the RRSP when I'm supposed to. And then you hit the milestones, and then you hit the next milestone, and you know that you're on track. And because you made a plan, and I got a slide coming up here right away, you know where you're supposed to be when. And when it comes to financial plans, the more time that you have to make it work, the better off you're going to be. There it is, right there. Right? Every one of these people invested $50,000 right at the start. Now, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to the number because the graph assumes an 11% annual rate of return, which I don't feel is entirely realistic. 6 or 7 is probably a little bit more realistic, but the point is that the guy that invested $50,000 between 25 and 35, at the end of his plan, has almost $100,000 because time has had the time to compound and kind of work its magic, right? Now that doesn't mean that if you're in your 40s or your 50s, you don't do it because it's too late. It just means that maybe we have to get a little bit more aggressive. It means that we have to tweak the plan a little bit, right? You're going to have to work harder to do it, to accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish, but you still do it. The 6 components of a financial plan, we'll go over them fairly quickly, or at least I'll try. And she's laughing in the background. The first and most important thing to deal with in a financial plan is cash flow management. If you don't manage your cash flow, you've got nothing. And that really is just money in, money out, right? What is the easiest thing for you to control personally when it comes to cash flow management? Spending. Exactly. You can do things to increase your income. You can go get more training. You can approach other employers. You can increase your skills. You can just work really, really hard on your time off and get better at whatever it is that you do. You can do that, or you can market yourself, or you can do those things. But it's not entirely in your control, if that pays off with a higher income. Likely it will, good chance it will, but it's kind of up to somebody else whether or not you get more money out of that. You can control where you spend, right? Number 2, risk management. When it comes to the financial plan, and risk management is essential in any plan, but when it comes to a financial plan, we're talking about insurance. We're talking about life insurance, disability insurance, critical illness insurance. Often when I talk to couples, I will look at, the wife, and I'll say, your husband is a key component to your financial plan. In the event of his premature death, what are you gonna need to keep your plan on track? And I know that it's cold, and I know that something like that, if something like that were to happen, the last thing you're thinking of is insurance payouts or your plan and whether or not it's gonna go. But if you're suffering through something that traumatic, don't you wanna at least know in the back of your mind, I'm still on track? Right? I can take the time off, I can deal with the kids, I can grieve, but I'm still on track? Like, all the rest of my life didn't get derailed? So those are the kind of things that we talk about when it comes to risk management. Investment planning. Investment planning really is just identifying how long your investments are going to be, what they're going to be used for, and then we allocate them to the right funds, right? If we have long term, then we invest them in something a little bit more volatile, it's going to get you a little more return. If it's really short term kind of stuff, then we'll invest it in something that's a whole lot safer but not going to get you much of a return. Tax planning strategies. Who here likes paying taxes? Nobody. Who here likes paved roads?
Yes, I was gonna say, I like the benefits of some of my taxes,
Who
a few
here,
of my taxes.
who here likes having the police to protect us?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, maybe a little bit, right?
Healthcare.
Yeah, who likes public health care? The point is that we don't like paying taxes, but they're essential. We like the benefits that we get from taxes. It's not perfect. The system that we have is far from perfect, and there's lots of leaks in it. I can look at a lot of plans and be like, that's a waste of money, right? You can look at a lot of government salaries and be like, why are they spending that on that guy or that girl, right? But it's still essential for our world the way that we know it, right? The last thing I want is toll roads and privatized healthcare. It just doesn't sound like a good time. But it doesn't mean that you have to pay more taxes than what you're supposed to. And that's why you do tax planning. You do tax planning so that you get the tax breaks where they're intended, and you pay the taxes when it's convenient for you, right? You don't have to pay your taxes now if you do it right. You can pay your taxes later. That's why the government set up RRSPs, right? They incentivize you. They say, we want you to invest in your own retirement so we don't have to support you when you're old and kind of useless. I don't mean to put it that way, but it's true, right? We break down as we get older. We become dependent on government programs, right? So the government incentivizes us. They say, okay, you can invest in your retirement, you can pay the taxes on it later. It's a great tax planning